Garten is a nonprofit founded in 1970 by Sallie Gearhart to serve children with disabilities and their families who back then had no access to public education. Before education became a right for all children regardless of needs in 1975, Garten focused on adults with disabilities so that when these children finished their education, they would have a place to work and socialize. Gearhart's pioneering efforts succeeded. Today, Garten Services provides vocational, career, retirement, and day activities for more than 500 people with disabilities throughout the central Willamette Valley. In 2015, Garten reopened its 40-year-old recycling facility with a moving tribute to Sallie and two longtime employees.
Because of the work of Sandy and John, if you read Sandy's obituary, I don't think her daughters are here today, but they brought their kids to work to help with the recycling when we were first getting started. Because of their work and pioneers like them, their daughters grew up with just a very natural understanding that you ought to recycle whenever and wherever you can, and that people with disabilities can be fun people to be around, and they can contribute and work just like everyone else. Our mission says we're here to help people with disabilities contribute to the community. But it also says that our work together increases society's awareness of human potential. Right now, today, you, all of you, each one of us is making that happen as we stand here today. We are seeing things that are possible for our folks with disabilities that Sallie never was able to imagine.
Hello, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw. Garten Services has long provided not only a host of recycling services, but with a mission that embraces the idea that people with disabilities want to work, can work, and thrive. What is it that serving people with disabilities is so important to Garten? And the answer lies on the front page of their website, increasing society's awareness of human potential. My guest today is Alyssa Lockwood. She is Garten's Resource Development Manager. Welcome to InSight, Alyssa. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Wendy. Thank you for having me.
Could you tell me, what is your job? What is it you do there?
Yeah, so as Garten's Resource Development Manager, I do all the fundraising, which is one of my favorite duties here. So with that, I also help coordinate two events each year. The first event is our summer event, which is our Sip and Stroll. It's our community outreach event. And then we also have our Garten Gala, which is happening in the fall. I also manage and write and coordinate all the grant efforts for Garten, as well as I do the social media and PR for our organization. So that means, yes, the website is part of my department. So my department just did a facelift of the website a couple years back, right when I started. So yeah, so that little tagline I included. Glad you like it.
By the way, congratulations on the great success of your Sip and Stroll event. Well attended.
Yes, our goal was to have 200, and we had well over 300, and between all the volunteers and sponsors, and I think we broke like 400 people. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and it's only our second year hosting that event, but we already reached our goal, which is 20,000, which directly impacts our programs and services. So yeah, it was really fun. It's very much a success. So looking forward to next year's event.
It was a long pandemic, but you say you were resilient. How was it going through the pandemic for Garten?
Yeah, so I actually started at Garten in the middle of the pandemic. So it started March of 2021. And from what I saw, we operated at limited capacity, but we still served our mission. With that, we supported clients as best as we could. And I know that some of our staff even drove to clients' homes and served them and supported them and interacted with them through a window. And it just showed how dedicated our employees are. And speaking of employees, we didn't lay off anybody during the pandemic. And so we, operated our staff like it normally would. So we still, I believe, had over 200 employees during the pandemic. And this year, I believe we're pushing 250. So
Was making that transition back to working in, not remotely, but back in the office, back at your facilities, difficult?
we didn't have a lot of people working remotely. At least right when I started in 2021, and that could be different, in 2020. And I know that we were, very accommodating to people who needed to work from home if needed, but also if someone needed to leave their job because of having to take care of a family member or a child during the pandemic, I know that we were very accommodating and ensured that, hey, you can return after, this is over, essentially. So I know I've heard multiple instances where we've done that for employees, which just shows how amazing, Garten as a whole, as an employer is.
Let's talk about the 20th anniversary of your Summer Youth Employment Program. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, we're really excited about our Summer Youth Employment Program. And like you said, it is our 20th year anniversary, and it's extra special because this year we've been able to increase our capacity to serve more youth with disabilities. Yeah, so in 2021, so we were still in the middle of the pandemic, we served 10 youth with disabilities who wanted to gain that work experience. And then last year, we slightly increased that to 20, but then this year we are currently, because it's happening right now, currently serving 31 youth with disabilities, and all of them are just thriving at their work site. All the employers love having the youth there, and the youth are gaining so much and so many skills that they could use in future endeavors. So we're really, really excited and so proud that it is our 20th year anniversary.
Eliza, tell me, what kind of work are these young people doing?
Yeah, so our Summer Youth Employment Program, we do partner with different businesses all over Marion and Polk counties. And that includes Oregon State University Extension, Garden, and we also have Done Right Plumbing. We have aesthetic studios. So we've got a wide range of job sites that the kids are currently working at. So we've had youth with disabilities work at the garden. They're learning how to propagate plants, which is so exciting. I was like, I don't even know how to do that. And at the extension center, they're also building fences. And I recently heard they're building a deck out there, which is just such a neat skill to have. And then I know at the aesthetic studios, one of the interns there, she's learning how to cut hair. What a neat skill to have, right? And that's kind of her dream job, is to be a hairstylist. So one of our host site, teaching her how to cut hair, style hair, even color hair. That is amazing. I know. And then we also have interns learning how to organize different stock stock items at Ace Hardware. That's a neat skill to have. Learning how to increase your organizational skills. And then also, some of the interns are learning how to do data entry at one of our host sites. So yeah, just a lot of neat skills that the 31 interns are learning this year.
What kind of feedback are you getting from the businesses as part of this program?
Yeah, we've garnered really, really great feedback from the different businesses and host sites. So much so that a couple of them I heard are getting a full-time job at their site. Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it's pretty neat. I know that some of the job sites are it's a new experience for them. We have a lot of new sites this year, but they have really, really loved the experience, getting to serve, our community and being able to provide a work experience site for the youth is really great for a lot of them. I know, like, for example, United Way is one of our partners, and they said that that the interns have been so helpful, specifically because during the school year they do have like help, but during the summertime, the students at like CTech, they're at summer vacation, so they don't have any help right now. So having the interns there it's just been so awesome. And I recently heard that one of the interns is learning how to use like a machinery tool. I'm like, that's really cool. That's a really neat skill to have that you could totally put in your resume. So really great feedback from all of the employers and host sites this year.
On your Facebook page, it talks about increasing society's awareness of human potential. Is that message taking with all of the employers and people that you partner with? Human potential, what do you mean by that?
We want people with disabilities to be seen as contributing members of our community. And not a lot of people with disabilities have opportunities like our summer youth employment program, where they can do the actual work at a community host site, and in turn, that community host site sees that people with disabilities can make an impact in their day-to-day businesses. And then they tell their friends that, hey, I had a great experience with Garten Services, and I had a great experience with, this intern. And even though this intern has a disability, they rocked their internship, right? That is, to me, what increasing human potential looks like. We want our whole community to see that people with disabilities are able to contribute, able to work, able to make a difference in the community. One of our interns, I asked him, what is your dream job? And he said, I just want to make an impact in people's lives. And to me, that is what that line means. So, yeah.
Straight from the heart, straight from the heart. Thank you very much. What drew you to Gartens in the first place, by the way?
What drew me to Garten? I personally wanted to work at an organization that is boots on the ground, helping people. We're helping people find jobs out in the community. We're helping people learn skills that will impact their lives. And then they can, give back to their community and make a difference, right? I wanted to be part of an organization that truly cares about their employees. When I had my interview with our COO and CEO, it was like I knew them. the whole time. It was a conversation. And, I've been in interviews before where it was like, so like, rigid, right? This was just a conversation about what Garten is all about, what I want in an employer. I even asked them, I'm like, hey, how do you support people with, how do you support your employees' mental health, I think is what I asked them. And then Will Cosgate mentioned how Garten is at Garten, he's able to, finally watch his son's baseball game. And you can't really find employers like that, like an accommodating employer. And so that really drew me. I was like, oh, this is a great place to work. And then obviously I've been here for 2.5 years and just really, really love it. I love the impact that we're making, and I see it visibly when I talk to our clients, the interns at our summer youth employment program. Like we were talking about Miley, she said that her job experience makes her feel like she can do something for her life, and that's amazing, right? Like I know that what I did, that grant or that fundraising effort that I did, is impacting my life. So, yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for that insight into why you wanted to be with Garten. Speaking of Garten's services, do you have an update on what their services are, especially new and exciting things?
Yeah. So, we have 8 businesses spread throughout Marion County, as well as Lane County and Polk County. So we have, as far as businesses, we have our print and mail. I'm not sure if you knew about that. We have our print and mail services. We have custodial and landscaping. We also have our recycling division. I'm sure you've heard about that one.
You're taking recycling in a new direction. What is that? That's interesting.
Yeah, so we are, expanding our electronics recycling. So before literally I think a month ago, we sold our laptops and computers without operating systems, but now we are now including a Microsoft OS with every laptop. Yeah, it's really neat. We've never done that before, but it's just a really neat expansion to be able to, one, give a full and complete laptop to sell to our community members at a discounted price. And we're also now accepting cell phones. So if you have like old cell phones, we're able to wipe them and resell them, refurbish and reuse and resell them to the community who may be looking for a smartphone at a discounted price. We've never been able to do that before, but now we're going to be offering that to our community. Yeah.
Are you doing the refurbishing yourselves?
Yep.
Oh, how does that work?
Yeah. So how it works is when someone donates their cell phone, we're able to wipe them completely. So they are, I believe, factory reset. And then we sell them to our community members at a discounted price.
Once these cell phones are refurbished, where do they go?
Yeah. So we are in the talks of either putting them for sale at our gear store, which is at our 3334 Industrial Way location. We are open Fridays 11 to 3, so the community can stop by and pick up electronic goods there. Or we're tossing the idea of also putting the cell phones on eBay.
What does the future look like for programs like recycling cell phones? Are you going more in the way of refurbishing and reselling electronics?
Yeah, so our goal is to be as sustainable and green as possible. And with that said, we want to be able to reduce the amount of e-waste that go into landfills. And so by, increasing our efforts in cell phone and laptop refurbishment, then we are able to achieve that sustainability goal. So I would say yes, we are, always looking to grow and expand our program, specifically that program, electronic and cell phone refurbishment.
You are around an organization on a daily basis where people's lives are being affected in really profound ways. Can you tell us any stories?
I could tell you a lot of stories. One of my favorite ones to tell is of one of our clients, DK, who I believe, I'm not sure if she works at a local restaurant anymore, but when she did, when we placed her at a local pizza restaurant, she loved her job so much that she would take the bus. It would take her, I think, an hour or 2 hours just to work an hour shift. I was like, wow, that really just shows her commitment, and she just wanted to work. So yeah, that is actually one of my favorite stories to tell is DK going to work for an hour and, taking the bus route 1 to 2 hours just to go to work. And again, that just shows like that people with disabilities are super motivated and super want to work.
That one is particularly moving because, well, I'm thinking of an event that you held in March of 2023, a presentation out at Chemeketa Community College, the theme of which was, and I'm quoting here, "Disability is a natural part of human experience." That's a rather profound statement. Do you have any thoughts?
I would say that I wish Tim was here because he could talk about that in more detail. But we had Nico Baklovich, who is just the smartest individual, who is nonverbal, but he's able to communicate using a letterboard. I don't know if you saw that whole presentation, but he was using a letterboard to communicate, and his mom was saying what he was, the letters that he was touching, and she would spell it out, and she'd be like, oh yeah, this is what you're saying. And I've never seen that before, which that was quite moving to see and like witness, because it's like people with disabilities are so freaking smart.
Garten seems to be challenging assumptions about what it is to have disabilities and to change minds.
We're trying to change like the community's perspective of what people with disabilities look like, because I mean, I see time and time again, like, again, I said it earlier, people with disabilities just want to give back to our community, want to be contributing. But it really takes a village to be able to like change our community's mindset of that. And so we're really trying to focus on how can we increase inclusion in our community. That's really it, right? We want to have, not just our host sites, giving this work experience for our summer youth employment program. We want all the businesses to hire people with disabilities. We want to like remove those barriers for people with disabilities. But it really takes a whole community's mindset to shift, like, and sadly I'm noticing not everyone has that vision. And I think that's what we're trying to change. We're trying to like open up people's, not just, eyes, but also like hearts too, and minds. And I think that once people realize that, people with disabilities just want to give back, then we're all better for it, honestly. So, I mean, you probably would agree.
Eliza, thank you so much for being my guest today on InSight. Please tell us, where can people learn about Garten and its programs, its mission, and everything that it's doing? Tell us.
Yes, so you can find more information about our programs and services online at garten.org. But if you'd also like to know about any of our programs and services, I could connect you directly with any of our program managers, and you could reach me at alockwood@garten.org, and I'm happy to get you connected with one of our programs or services. But yeah, that's how you get a hold of us.
It's been a delight talking with you today, Alyssa. I've just really enjoyed this, and a lot to think about. So thank you for joining us today on InSight. And thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
This equipment is literally the mechanism to empower our workforce to more efficiently process residential and commercial recyclables, keeping the commodities we generate in our community and the jobs in our community. Thank you to all of you who recycle and are so careful to rinse out your milk jugs so that we don't have to smell sour milk. Thank you to all of you for taking the trouble to pull material out so that we can put people to work and spare the environment. These jobs are important. Because of this project, 160 people will work in this facility and know that their jobs are secure. At least another 34 to 40 jobs will be created when we are fully operational. So this is a job creation, keep the dollars in the Salem area project.
Those are for non-operating systems. So where do we want to put them?
These are for singles. Over here.
Oh, good spot. Each item has its own number. And so when we get the paperwork for the order, Chris, part of his job is to come in here and pull the right computer or laptop or whatever it is we're doing. Good. Okay.
I altogether have worked for Garten for 5 years. I enjoy it. It's an honor working here. I enjoy the work I do here, working around people that help me. I have a job coach with me.
Okay, and what is it?
It's a pro, so it's an operating system.
Mm-hmm.
She helps me with if I ever have questions or if I have stuff to work on, she helps me.
Chris used to work on the belt, the sort belt. He's also worked over in packaging and assembly, but pretty much what he did there was just putting together boxes. Whereas here, when he came over here, there's a wide range of things that he's doing. So as he's gone through Garten, I think he's been getting jobs you need one more skill at, and he's matched that. He's gone along. He's doing a great job now.
Garten represents people with special needs, and if anybody that's looking for a good job to help them start out in the community, I would highly recommend Garten services.